Get out.
Monopolies of government. Isn't a corporation a monopoly? Isn't that something granted by the government? And doesn't that not, it's not necessarily capitalism, corporations. There could be non-corporate capitalism. It just means minimal government.
Well, there's no such thing as a perfectly free market. What you're going to have is a freer market. What we simply assume here is that the stone has really been pushed far up the hill towards capitalism here. But again, once you have, in our scenario, 40 billion human beings living in a solar system, you need to have something to establish some order. No matter how much you feel you like it, we need someone to tell us red means stop. I don't care if it's your power color, we need someone to say, when you see the red light, stop the car. When you're in this country, this side of the street, we all go this way. So no matter what, you're going to need somebody to say what the base rules are. At the end of the day, that has to be government. In a very minimal way, open for everyone else to compete, but even in this most capitalistic and market of systems, on some level you need the government to enforce some sort of order.
And that's what creates the corporations?
They do it through the corporations, and let the corporations actually handle most of the human interactions, since they're far more efficient at it, and in our theory.
And one other thing is that, congratulations, by the way, on drawing this crowd, and I noticed that I don't see anybody I know, and I'm probably one of the few people here actually from the cryonics community.
Oh.
So I'm kind of just mentioning that in case there's some of my friends here.
So we're going to be dealing with you for a really long time. Damn, we got to be nice to them.
For those who don't know what the cryonics community is, it's a belief that you can actually suspend yourself and presumably wake up, hopefully wake up into a future where medical nanotechnology, advances in stem cell research and science can actually cure you of your ill, so that you can
that whole pesky death thing.
Ted Williams.
Yeah. Ted Williams and apparently Simon Cowell, I just found out. How horrible is that going to be? I don't know why you reemerged. You're a complete waste of time.
And this future. Who plans a future like this?
This is so hilarious.
Why did you write the book?
Hair.
Eitan wanted more hair.
I want more hair.
Did it work?
Well, I need to get the money first. Hopefully there'll be enough money that hair will then follow, you know. Hair today, gone tomorrow.
That's the joke. I mean, Eitan was working in Compton many, many years ago, and he sort of came up with the idea while seeing, he was trying to figure out what would be a way in which this destitution could sort of be righted that isn't working now.
Compton was filled with brilliant students who had had their education robbed from them by a completely callous bureaucracy that just took their money and stole what they should have had. These kids were so smart, so bright, and so flushed down the toilet. And it happens day after day, week after week. So I was thinking, there has to be a better way. Obviously, what we have in this country just ain't working for a lot of kids that are smart and deserve better. And this idea just kind of formulated. I went to the opposite extreme of the command public school system that I was in at the time. So obviously, opposite end.
Right. Interestingly enough, when we started doing research for the book, requisite reading was Milton Friedman, in Capitalism and Freedom, there was a passage that we found, which is the very first page of the book, in which he suggests this concept.
But the other reason we wrote this book is because essentially we were at, well, at least I was very much at a low point in my life. Let's see, I was in my 30s, divorced, unemployed, living at mommy and daddy's house. Pretty much in America, there's very few definitions of failure about as good as that. That's about it. And I needed something just to feel better, to look at myself in the mirror and say, at least I'm trying to do something. Who the hell knew it was going to work?
And by the way, I had moved back from Israel with my family, couldn't find a job, and was living with my in-laws, and saying, oh man, you know, we had a Reese's peanut butter cup moment at that time, for those of you old enough to remember that.
Bravo, more books.
Amen. It's actually, it's available on audio now. If you go to the unincorporatedman.com, there's a link for it, and it's available on Kindle as well. No, you know, it's interesting. The creators of the work have very little to do with like
Everything.
voice, cover, everything. We found there's something called an ARC, which is an advanced reader copy. It had been floating around America. We didn't find it until, you know, going to a convention, and the bookseller there offered it to us. Hey, do you want one of these? And we're like, we have one of those. So this whole journey has been like we went to another convention and saw our book cover up on a window.
But we didn't actually find, we didn't know we had the cover until a guy came up and said, "Hey, nice cover."
Nice cover, man. What?
Whose? Yours?
Yeah.
Huh?
We didn't know we had an audiobook either until I accidentally Googled. Eitan laughs at me. I get to like page 30 looking for like, did anybody write anything? Wow, there's audio. I found like some article about the initial stages of it. Thank you. Thank you. A little nerve, but we'll get over that. Yes, the young man in the front who looks suspiciously like my son.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
I have a question. I'm not done.
Okay, we all have a question. We all,
Yes.
us four have a question for you guys. Our
Absolutely.
Our question is, how many years did it take you to write the book?
8.
No, not 8 years to write it. It took probably 5 years to write it, 3 years to get it published.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 5 years. Eitan actually wrote, he doesn't know this yet, but he guest blogged today. He had given it to me a long time ago, and I kept putting it, like I was going to get to it. But he wrote a blog today about this luxury of time that you have when you're writing your first book, as my surfing buddies will attest, for the 5 years that I was surfing with them. And every Sunday I'd be in the water like, well, what part are you up to? Well, we're at the part where we're not sure what to do. And we had all the time in the world. And then when you signed the contract, right, all the time in the world, what do you think? And we sent it to Mike, and he gave us, and some other people here, and they gave us their opinions. But once we signed the contract, okay, guys, the next book is due in 11 months, And we were like, hey, can we get an extension by like, a month? We're no, you may not have an extension. And we turned around in 11 months. So,
I have a question.
You have to ask a question, though. No jokes now.
I have the same question as him, but don't say here.
Well, what?
I have to
That's a
say,
real question.
why did you write the book? But don't say here.
Every human being feels a need to feel that they've distinguished themselves in some way in their existence.
What?
This is the primary.
He wants everybody to know his name.
I want everyone to know my name.
So why did you come up to write the book?
Every human being.
What?
He wanted to be a science fiction author ever since he was a little kid.
Near your
I had
age.
no idea what I wanted to be. Just worked
You
out.
told me you wanted to be an artist.
Artist, rock star, everything. Just
Pasta!
Yes, Lev.
How did you get the backing of the Sci-Fi Network and to be part of their book series?
Hell if I know.
We really don't know. This is all part of this. How did we get an audiobook? How did we get the Sci-Fi Essential? Sci-Fi Essential is a
How did we get
designation that was
hardcover?
given to the book. You'll notice on the sleeve it says a Sci-Fi Essential. Sci-Fi is a sci-fi channel, and what they do is they pick 12 books a year that they designate as books that are above and beyond or something different.
Essential,
So they-
so to speak.
Yeah, so they chose our book. I don't know what month it will be the essential book for, but
Either
it is.
March or April, I think.
Right. But you get the designation, and then you get to carry it, for the rest of your life, which was high honor indeed.
Have you tried getting this book to be read by an economist in the same mold as Milton Friedman?
I sent it to The Economist,
There are no more economists
and I
in
don't.
the mold.
Generally, magazines like that or books like that, when they see fiction and they see science fiction, they run the other way because generally science fiction for the longest time has been space opera. And has sort of moved away from what Eitan and I refer to as old school science fiction. Robert Heinlein, Arthur C. Clarke, Ray Bradbury. And that's very much in the mold that Eitan and I aspired to when we wrote this book, which was for lack of a better word, a sort of adversarial position. We wanted to come out with a book that had very strong opinions about things. In this case, the notion of humanity seeming to willingly give up its freedom no matter how perfect the system, and challenging. And generally, we feel that if it were to go to those magazines and they were to see it and to see the sort of economic theories we proposed, they would probably enjoy it. But unfortunately, science fiction for a long time has been given a bad name by not a lot of... Either there's been stuff that's come out, but people haven't been interested. I suspect now, with everything that's going on, people may be more interested. And we may be hitting a perfect storm here in that our book is economic science fiction and political at a time when the economy is you know, high and high.
The government has
line.
kindly decided to trash the economy for us as a means of marketing our book.
Yes, towards
Sorry,
brilliant
Marty.
marketers, they managed to yeah.